So hi, welcome to the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Christian Sparacio.
and we're gonna ask him some questions today about his new singles, Sunsets and Revelries, and Open Season. How do you feel about the response to Open Season, since the only one that's out so far while we're recording this?
Yeah, I feel great. I mean, initially, you get a little disappointed. You don't let an editorial, maybe, it's not the next big song that's going to hit, New Music Friday, but every song's a little bit bigger than the next. The feedback is always nice. It just shows a new element of my music that, people have had really good feedback, have, given me good feedback. So I'm pretty stoked about it, and, numbers wise, it's doing better than the other ones had in the first couple of weeks. So can't really complain.
Oh yeah. Love
So
to see
true.
it.
It's great. So is there any meaning behind the single names or cover arts?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So open season. Open season, obviously, like the open season is when, hunting season starts and you're able to then, shoot animals.
Yeah.
Kind of messed up, but so I chose that word because, well, it's obviously mentioned in the song, but the title it's basically like me being very vulnerable, with a significant other that doesn't appreciate, the amount of like love that I'm giving, and they're not reciprocating, and they're maybe taking advantage of that. So it's open season, like on my heart, right? So it's definitely a sort of not a dark track, but it does possess a little bit of sadness and reflection on, not having, not being with a partner that appreciates you. And then toward the end of the song, I kind of come to that realization and get some closure and clarity, which is good. So that's why it's called Open Season. But I liked the artwork because obviously it's kind of a summer track. And sort of like that sort of melancholy nature of it is hidden within the sort of upbeat, fun melodies and stuff. So I wanted to reflect that in the artwork too. So you have like this bright pool artwork that's sort of like it's like almost like a summer pop artist artwork. And then you're greeted with not a pop song, but it's definitely an upbeat sort of summer song.
Yeah.
So I really like that juxtaposition.
Oh yeah. And then the other track as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Sunsets and Revelry. So Sunsets and Revelry, it's sort of like at this inflection point, right? So Sunsets and Revelry is sunsets, I guess, it's sort of like the end of the day, right? The sun is setting, the things that are behind you, you're moving on from. And Revelry, I think the definition is like it's like partying and drinking sort of with your friends and stuff. And I guess it's a reflection on, my moving from past experiences and relationships that I've outgrown. So that's where it's like sunsets. And then the revelry part is sort of my behavior after that. It's like that in between period, when you're finally moved on from something else, but you haven't arrived at where you're going yet. So you kind of have that in between moment.
Yeah.
So that's why it's called that. And then ultimately the song is as it is with a lot of my music. It has this sort of optimistic settling where you kind of come to the realization that you weren't at when the song started. So the artwork is indicative of that, because I'm sitting in trees and I'm sort of relaxed and just reflecting on all that had happened, because I finally arrived at my place.
Oh, I like that.
That's good.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for those couple of singles?
Yeah, totally. So the cool thing about those singles are I started them both probably a year and a half ago.
God damn.
And I maybe even 2 years ago, probably 2 years ago, before COVID, I was just like writing and noodling around. And Open Season I actually did with my buddy Harrison. We just like were writing together. But I wrote them both in the same headspace where I was sort of unhappy, but like didn't really know it yet, or hadn't come to terms with the reality of I'm allowed to leave things I'm unhappy from. Like it doesn't make me unselfish, right?
Mhm.
Or it
Yeah.
doesn't make me selfish. So yeah, I started and I was really reflecting on those things, the things I was uncertain about. And my writing process is just noodle around on the guitar, hum melodies. And for both of those songs, the first minute I wrote about 2 years ago. And then I wasn't able to finish them until I was finally out of my situation that I had been sort of upset about.
Mhm.
So that's kind of consistent with a lot of my songs. I feel like my subconscious is drawn out of me in songs, and it's always like a couple of years ahead of my conscious mind.
Mhm.
And it kind of knows where things are going to go.
That's like oddly
That's
scary.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what?
That's like scary.
It's a real thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's legit. It is scary, but it's also peace. It also is calming because it's like ultimately things will work out. Your mind and your heart and soul know what to do.
So like since then you're so like ahead of the curve, do you have any songs that like, you sit down and write from start to finish, or is everything like you sit on it?
Not everything is that I sit on it, but I think the ones that are more existential and aren't things that are, so tangible, they definitely take a lot of time, to sort of come to fruition. But then when I write other songs about, my immediate, place in the world or just like my current situation, and I don't have this sort of like overarching, existential, revelation, those ones don't take that long, and I can finish those in 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So I want you to tell us your favorite lyrics off of these two tracks and the meaning behind them. One lyric from each song, if that's okay.
If you don't mind, I mean, not that I don't remember them, but I want to pull up some of the lyrics. So I'll start with Open Season because
Okay.
let's see if I can get these lyrics up in a timely fashion.
No rush.
Let's see what I got here. You know what I'll do? This is going to be such a Apple Music has them.
Oh, fancy.
Here we go. Okay, so I think I already know what it is, but so in Open Season it says this is after the initial parts where it's like it's open season on my heart and I'm feeling sort of upset and vulnerable and like not feeling appreciated. It's not open season because you never come around. You call it treason every time I make a sound. Your staple, a magic 8-ball to me.
Wow.
So it's kind of my realization, this moment where I finally had confidence to be like, it's kind of like calling the other person out on their BS, and the way that they were treating me. So it's not open season because I'm no longer open to you because you don't respect me. So I'm not going to let you shoot up at my heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also the reason it isn't, it's because they were never around. They weren't there for me. So I decided, I deserve better. So I'm going to turn this off. You call it treason every time I make a sound. This is actually inspired by like being like gaslighting in relationships and being pretty heavily, what would you call it, gaslit. So like every time I would voice my emotions, like it'd be like treasonous, like I was dating a dictator or something. We'll have to not let that person listen to this.
We'll just block them. It's fine.
It doesn't matter. They're not going to know. And then your staple, a magic 8-ball to me, I guess it was sort of like I never knew what I was going to get. I would like, magic 8-ball, and there's only a few responses you can get. But like obviously it's like the luck of the draw. It was never like a genuine interaction. It felt like it was always some selfish sort of contrived narcissistic relationship that I just don't process the world that way. So it was really hard for me to deal with how I wrote this. Songs ultimately are like venting.
Yeah.
So that one's fun, but
Sounds like it.
It's like so dark when you don't like people don't realize it. But and then so let's see, Sunsets and Revelry. It's so hard to pick lyrics specifically. I'm gonna decide specifically not to go to the chorus because let's like the part people will probably listen to the most. So let's see. Unlike the Boomtown Rats, I do like Mondays now, even when I'm alone. Tell me, do you hear me when I say that I'm sorry? Walking on a dream's just taking me farther away. So the first lines I think specifically is like, unlike the Boomtown Rats, I do like Mondays now, even when I'm alone. So there's this song by the Boomtown Rats called I Don't Like Mondays.
Mhm.
And it's a reference to, I think it's back in the 60s or 70s. I don't know exactly, but this girl, she sat across from the school on like a roof and like shot up the school with a sniper.
Oh,
Okay.
And when they asked her like, why did you do this? What was going through your mind? She just went, I don't like Mondays. And so the Boomtown Rats wrote a song about that. It's called Tell Me Why I Don't Like Mondays. It's like it's a clever one-hit wonder. And so I was like trying to make references, in which I do in a lot of in this whole verse, I make references to different songs and artists, sort of in a subtle way. So this is like an ode to them and saying like, unlike the Boomtown Rats, I do like Mondays now. So it's sort of like me coming through all the crap and being okay with being alone with myself and like sourcing peace from within instead of relying on someone else to give it to me.
Okay.
yeah. Wow. Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
So how do you recommend that your fans listen to these singles for the first time? In the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Are they party tracks? They certainly don't sound like it.
Interesting. You know what? The lyrics don't necessarily have to. That's the thing I love about music is you listen to Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People, and it's a horrible, dark song, but you're like, to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily my intention, but I do like to reflect and talk about like deep subjects. Deep is such an annoying word, but sort of like, you know what I mean? I mean, to each their own, but I do think that these songs are meant to, be experienced with other people, experience camaraderie and human connection and whether that's sitting around a campfire in the car or sitting at the kitchen table in the morning and someone's cooking up like eggs and bacon, you know what I mean? And really just like do it in an experience that you will remember, and that it's not the only sensory experience. Like you're smelling the food, you're smelling the fire, you're like feeling the breeze, I feel like it should be kind of this cohesive experience.
I like that.
That was very good. Yeah. I enjoyed that response a lot. That was good.
Thanks.
So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe these two singles in 3 words for new listeners, of course.
Oh my goodness. Open Season. 3 words.
3 words. Off the top of your head. Don't think too hard.
Fun.
Okay.
Boisterous.
Okay.
Illuminating.
Ooh, I like illuminating. All right.
Sunsets and Revelry. Reflective.
Okay.
Nostalgic.
Good.
Empowering.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wonderful choices.
Cool.
So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while going through these tracks?
Yeah, I mean, Open Season, I just want people to, I want people to just like get up and groove, because I try to have the mentality of no matter what's going on, there's no reason like you shouldn't, like ultimately things are going to be fine. So like you can still dance and enjoy yourself and try to enjoy the moment. So I just want people to have fun, and it's just such a groovy track. Just like get up and do whatever you like to do, move your body,
Yeah.
And then Sunsets and Revelry, like this one I feel like is super nostalgic. It's sort of escorting us into fall. It's like this moment of change where you feel like you do anything, like everything. It's like a clean slate. So I feel like you gotta like tackle a new obstacle or like embrace a new challenge and embark on that, and feel that while you're listening to it, because it will fuel that,
Sure.
I imagine someone like making it to the top of a mountain and just being like, oh yes, like I made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's kind of, I guess, what I would say.
Okay.
So while listening to these 2 tracks, what band or artist influence pops out the most to you?
Wow. So, I mean, with Open Season, I definitely think there's a touch of Vampire Weekend for sure in there.
Yeah.
It's sort of it does have those, the layered, guitars and funky bass and upbeat drums, but it also has like a 70s chorus amp like playing in the background that sort of swells in. So it has like these sort of experimental aspects that are very sort of subtle. But I do think that Vampire Weekend, it kind of lacks a typical hook too. So I think they are definitely a big influence. Other bands that I think, like the guitar tone, you could definitely say Mount Joy for sure. One of my biggest influences, I think. Just I love that band. And like Rainbow Kitten Surprise. That band.
That's an amazing band name.
That
Sorry.
band is so cool. And then
Wait,
what's that?
Sorry, I was just gonna ask, is that like a deathcore band? It sounds like just like the exact opposite. Okay, good.
No, they're not at all. They're cool. Like they're very unique, and they definitely have their own demons. They talk about a lot of dark stuff, but they're like an indie folk rock band.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Just the name threw me off. I'm like, is it the exact opposite, or are they actually like?
No, they're super cool.
Okay, cool.
But and then I mean John Mayer, with like the tasteful, guitar in the beginning. That there's always an element of John Mayer. And then the Sunsets and Revelry, I definitely think I was trying to channel my inner Ben Howard with the intro. So Ben, are you familiar with Ben Howard?
No,
I don't think I am.
Ben Howard is like a super clever acoustic guitar player that he does a lot of alternate tuning stuff that I don't really do, but he's really good at finger picking, and he does a good job of implementing these cool melodies into the finger picking that I was trying to do, and sort of feel this like spaciness, like kind of ethereal thing. And I remember I was sitting in a park, I think it was called like, I forgot, it's a park in North Jersey. It has like a reservoir, and I was sitting there just playing through it. And that's where I wrote that intro to Sunsets and Revelry. So I think Ben Howard for sure, but then I think it channels, it channels a little bit of Kings of Leon, because once the second verse happens, it has like this real upbeat, like rockin' guitar and drums.
Yeah.
And then even a little bit of like Chuck Berry, trying to have like that guitar tone in there.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Be Good. We definitely quote a little bit Johnny Be Good inadvertently, like in that verse in the guitar. So a lot of those, trying to, Southern rock a little bit in that song was definitely an influence.
All right, let's see it. Okay, so picture this: you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Ooh, my snack of choice.
Yeah.
Got to be something savory, like honestly, maybe Doritos.
Okay.
Ooh, what flavor?
Regular Doritos. Like, I love Doritos. Okay. So good.
Okay.
Make me feel terrible, but they're great.
It's worth it. It's completely worth it.
Yeah, I'm not a sweet guy. I don't like sweets.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
I think Doritos for sure.
Yeah, good choice.
So where do you see the project in the next 5 years?
Well, hopefully, I think the project, it has potential to, I'd like to be touring, at least nationally. I'd like to touch into Europe and maybe Australia and New Zealand. I really want to dip into, headlining these big folk festivals that aren't like the biggest festivals in the world, but they're, big to the people that go and that appreciate them. Like Newport Folk Festival is obviously a dream of mine. I would love to play at Red Rocks, but I do think that it has the ability to, be a sustainable project, right? Like I want to have, numbers wise, you get up to the mid, you few 100,000 monthlies, you can actually sustain the project, and you have a lot of meaningful fans, like selling VIPs because they care about the music you're making. I don't really do it so that I can make money or have, clout. I want to actually connect with these people, So I see it, it's hard to say, but I would love to be touring nationally and like actually meeting a lot of people that care about the music.
So true.
For sure.
That's good.
I could see it happening in the next 5 years.
I hope. I'll be 30, so.
Easily.
Yeah, let's hope. So for the last couple questions, we're going to shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Last meal.
With a
so
drink.
I'm a vegetarian for the past 2 years, but I might say I'm not. Maybe like some of my mom's, she cooks mashed potatoes, fried chicken cutlets, and corn.
Mm.
and it's like really good.
Mhm.
Now I've been doing fried tofu, which isn't as good, but I do it.
Okay.
So I would say if I'm not a vegetarian, I'd go fried chicken cutlets, mashed potatoes, and corn. If I still am, then I'll do fried tofu, mashed potatoes, and corn, and with Peter Luger sauce.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be my last meal.
Do you have a drink?
Probably just like a can of Coke.
Okay.
It has to be in a can though, not a bottle.
Okay.
Okay. And not a glass?
I mean, it could be in a glass, but it would have to be the one from Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously.
But I would definitely still say I'm partial to the can.
Fair enough.
I get that.
We need Coke in the office. Not like actual Coke, but like the soda.
Yeah.
I don't think you had to clarify.
Hey, it would make meetings pretty exciting. No, I think so. I mean, I try to stay away from Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, of course, the soda.
And Coke, other Coke. But yeah, I would, these seltzers, man, I'm not about it.
Yeah. We have to bring this up with Matt.
We do. He's a seltzer fiend.
Yeah. We got polar seltzers in the office, and it's awful.
I should work there.
It's like,
no, they're good. They're good. They are, but it's kind of like, I don't know, eating like a good salad.
Yeah.
It's not as good as.
And the fridge is also 70% Matt's polar, and about 30% all the other drinks we have.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's and then the rest is like Mike's Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sneak peek into the dim office.
It's a vibe,
Sounds good.
I'm wearing America Part 2 shirt, actually. Represent.
You love to see it.
Love to see it.
Rep America Part 2. Go see them on tour.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Oh, man. I'd probably live at like Hogwarts.
What house are you?
Gryffindor for sure.
Gryffindor?
Oh, yeah.
That's fair.
Absolutely. I would probably live there. That would be awesome.
All right. Good choice.
Good choice.
I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person who's spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Orange.
Specific shade of orange.
Maybe like a marigold orange or something like that. Not like this orange.
All right.
Aw.
Not like the bright neonish orange, something more folky.
Okay.
Like kind of like a burnt orange, or not that
burnt
dark?
Orange, but not so much red or scarlet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Touch of burn.
All right.
Okay.
I like that.
Exactly.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Plug. I mean, I'm not sure if it'll probably be announced by the time. When is this coming out?
After you announce the single, and whatever else, if you're announcing the other thing.
So, yeah, I'll be going on tour in November, and the first show will be at Arlene's Grocery in New York City, which I consider my home base, to be honest. So it should be a wild show. It'll be awesome. I'm co-headlining with Walkney with support from my homie Telco. So if you're in the area, come through. We'll try to live stream it. That would be great. But otherwise, just feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk music with people. If you're a writer, I'd love to talk about your writing and get other inspiration. And listen to my songs if you feel like it. Available on all streaming. I'm not going to push you to, but if you feel compelled to, please do.
All right. Well, thank you for now. This has been Christian Sparacio, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.